Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with
Okay, today we got a special show. We're going to be talking about, you know what? This is some of the most confusing stuff that you have to get your head around if you're a new seller. And that's the Amazon advertising reports. So we're going to be talking about that with an expert. And she is the guest and CEO and co-founder of PPC Ninja. She has been in the e-commerce industry for over 10 years, and she's passionate about helping sellers. You probably already guessed who she is. She doesn't really need an introduction, but Ritu Java. She's awesome. And she's also Canadian. So we don't have too many Canadians on the podcast. But before I get to that, I just wanted to give a shout out to Sellerize. Sellerize is a comprehensive solution for your everyday business needs. It's everything you need to grow and scale your Amazon business, and it's just a click away. For more information, contact Dima and his team over at sellerize.com. That's Sellerize with one R. Okay, where is Squire?
You're really sticking with the Squire thing, eh?
I like Squire.
All right, I'll give it to you. All right, welcome Marina to the show, as well as Manny from Germany and Simon. It's good to see everyone. How is everyone doing? Let us know how your Q4 is going.
More importantly, how the stashes are going for Movember.
Yes, give us an update. I have to say that in our Patreon group, we had our guest lesson yesterday with Craig Darling and Faye. I think it was an appreciation, but she drew on her own mustache, I think resembling mine. So I appreciated that, Faye. Thank you for drawing on a mustache for your support. But yeah, I just wanted to say that we do have a Movember charity event. That's when people grow their mustaches, and we have a fundraiser that we're doing in Facebook to support men's mental health and help support men's cancer support groups. So that is over in the Facebook group, and it's pinned to the top, and you can also find it on Norm's personal profile.
I got to ask you one thing, Kels. Like with Faye's picture that she drew, that mustache that she drew.
No, it was on her.
What?
She took a pen and she drew it on herself.
Now that's hilarious. Okay. Yeah, this is even better. So the question is, I guess it would be a very faint kind of broken mustache, right? Like really. Mine? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just saying. Yeah. I didn't want to say it right out there, but
we're 10 days in on the mustache. Okay. So I'm
wait. 10 days in on the beard.
Day 11, it's going to go crazy. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right. But anyways, smash those like buttons if you haven't already. This is a live podcast. So if you're new to the show, you can ask your questions to Ritu and Norm throughout the show. And we have a great giveaway too. It's a big giveaway, actually. It's valued at over $240. So stay tuned for that, and we can jump right into it.
Okay. And before we introduce Ritu, this is going to be a topic. I'm expecting a lot of questions. So if you have PPC questions, if you have PPC reporting questions, shoot them in the comment box now, and we'll get them lined up. We'll probably be able to get through a good chunk of them, but like the last podcast, we never got through a quarter of the questions. So anyways, just wanted to ask you to do that.
Yeah, get them in early. That's the easiest way to make sure you get your questions seen.
Okay, so it's that time. Sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, enjoy the episode, and welcome Ritu. Hello, stranger. You are on mute. Kelsey probably did that.
Oh my goodness, I was on mute. Oh my goodness. But yes, hello, stranger.
Yeah, we met briefly in Miami.
In Miami. Yeah.
Okay, so for those of us who may not know you, who are you? What do you do?
Yes, so I am Ritu Java. I am the CEO of PPC Ninja. PPC Ninja is a services and software company in the Amazon PPC space. We handle advertising for DSP as well as sponsored products and sponsored other ads.
Perfect. So we're going to be talking about reports today. Yeah, Simon, I can see his comment at the PPC sucks. Okay, sorry you feel that way. But,
I'm sorry, Simon.
and you know what? Expect some comments from Simon today. But
Okay.
anyways, let's get into it. So when I started with Amazon, I found the reporting, even back then, it was horrible. It was tough to, really navigate and understand. And let's talk about it. So first of all, right now, what are the different reports that we should be paying attention to?
Yeah, so you're right. I mean, there's just a lot of data that we get from Amazon, and oftentimes it's really hard to, make sense of it, to navigate it, and to kind of use it to our advantage. Now, I want to say that it is amazing that we actually do get that sort of data, because it's always better to have more than less when it comes to data. And at this point, Amazon is giving us 24 different reports just for advertising. We have other types of reports like business reports, inventory, et cetera, et cetera. But when it comes to advertising, there's 24 of them, and there's a good spread across all the different ad types. And if you're not familiar with those reports, you're probably not going to visit the report center. You're probably not going to take advantage of it, and you're probably going to be just wondering how to get help from external sources, or someone to shed some light on what's inside them and how to use them. So yeah, I guess today my goal is to kind of give you a glimpse into what those different reports are and how you can use some of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's one or two that everybody knows, but then there's so many that people not necessarily know. So we'll talk about all of that stuff today.
And you also have some slides to share as well.
Yes, I have some slides, although I'll try to keep it conversational and take any questions as they come in. But yes, I have some slides to just point out what is inside these reports, so that will be useful.
Okay, fantastic. So before we get into it, I didn't forget this time. You have a giveaway.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Yes. Yeah. So the giveaway is a free PPC audit for one lucky winner. So basically what we'll do in the audit is that we will take your reports and we will look at your data. And then we will give you some analysis of how you're using PPC, whether you're optimizing, whether there's areas of improvement, things like that. And we give you recommendations at the end for improving your PPC in more than one way. So that's the giveaway that we will be offering today.
That's fantastic. So if you want to take part in that giveaway, it's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. If you want to have an extra entry, it's tag 2 people. And hopefully when those people get tagged, they comment. So, okay, let's go into the top reports. Like there's 24 that you mentioned, but what are the top reports that we should be looking at?
So everybody looks at the search term report, and the search term report contains really important information about what a shopper typed into the search bar against which targeting type you kind of bid on. For example, a keyword or an ASIN or a category. So Amazon gives you that information, and that's really useful because with your advertising, you're essentially setting out some magnets to collect new keywords that will be matched to those to the keywords that you're bidding on, right? So for example, through auto campaigns, through broad match, phrase match campaigns, you might be able to get a whole lot of additional keywords that you probably didn't anticipate, because shopper behavior is changing all the time. They get influenced by the folksonomy, the way people use certain words in certain ways, which is constantly evolving, right? So you might think that a dog nail grinder is what it is, but maybe someone's calling it nail cutter, nail clipper, nail something else. You may not get that same exact search term from the audience, the shoppers that are looking for stuff. So in order to, always be in tune with what people are calling certain things, it's important to always pay attention to these reports, because they will tell you what is the way to express it, and what might be the most popular way to express it, right? So that's the most important report in terms of keyword discovery, and also finding out the performance of each of the different keyword types or ASIN types that we are advertising on, and see which ones are doing well, which ones we need to back off of, and which ones to double down on. So that's the search term report. Yeah.
So based on what you were just talking about, are there ways that we can, outside of what you just said, are there ways that we can leverage the data from the search term report?
Yes. So there's many ways to leverage the data from search term report. The most obvious one and the easiest one to do is keyword discovery. So any keyword that you find in there, or any search term that you find in there that is not currently being advertised, can be harvested. So there's this whole process of harvesting that goes on. It's an ongoing process. You can't stop. And then you can look at the data and say, okay, this search term has had so many impressions, so many clicks, so many sales. And if it meets your thresholds for discovery, you can pick that up, and then you can create specific campaigns targeting that proactively, right? So you can create manual campaigns that target that. Now, it's not just keywords. You can also discover products that people were on the page of, so that they can, those products can be specifically targeted through product targeting ads. So these are the two kind of easy ways to kind of discover what shoppers are interested in. In addition, you can also find keywords that are not doing well. So for example, you have certain search terms that always result in lots of clicks but no sales, for example, over a certain time period. You might say, hey, this keyword doesn't look good, or this search term that it's attracting is not looking good. It's just spending a lot of money. So a lot of people in the industry will do some sort of negation. They will negate those search terms so that you don't spend unnecessary dollars on a keyword or a search term that is not likely to convert. So looking into the data, in this way, you can protect yourself, and at the same time, you can also discover new opportunities. So I would say, summary of what I just said, search term report can be used for keyword discovery and performance enhancement by just looking at the data.
So you were talking about negative keywords, and I've talked to a few sellers, and it's interesting when they throw it in, throw it over to negative. Do you have any tips on that? Like, how many clicks should it have, or what's the ratio before you suddenly decide to throw a keyword into negative?
Right. Yeah. So my viewpoint is slightly different from a lot of people in the industry. I know that people will be quick to throw something into a negative. I don't do that too easily, unless a search term has really been bleeding and there is no reason for that search term to be there. I don't generally, go and negate those keywords, because it might be seasonal, it might be temporary, and you're always looking back at absolute time values, and you're looking at let's say windows of 15 days or 30 days. But within that 15 or 30 days, if you have a lot of clicks and no sales, it doesn't mean that the next window you will have zero sales. You could have the sale coming in because of the conversion rate being low, or it just being a slow moving keyword or whatever. You might actually see the impact of that keyword in a different time frame. And so I'm not generally quick to throw a keyword into negative unless it's absolutely the wrong keyword to describe the product, right? And I actually want to maybe make sure from the start that this keyword is not being attracted to my product. For example, if I'm selling iPhone cases and I know I don't have any Android cases, I will negate Android from the get-go. I'm not going to let that seep in. But let's say if I have keywords that have some affiliation to other keywords, I will let those in, because after all, people are coming in looking at my image. They are seeing the image and they know what it is from the description, and then they're clicking on it. So there's a reason why they might be attracted to my product. And so I'm very careful about keyword negation. But to your point, I guess if we were to come up with some sort of thresholds for when to negate, I mean, I would keep that threshold pretty high. I would rather manage the bid itself. I would try to keep the bid low in order to avoid bleeding, but then take the clicks with no sales as just the cost of doing business. You won't always have 100% hit rate, right? You won't have every person coming to your, even with the most optimized campaigns, you're not going to be able to get performance where every single click leads to a sale. It's not going to happen, right? So
Right.
it is the cost of doing business. You just have to figure out how you want to train the algorithm, because at the end of the day, if those keywords that you're negating end up being the ones that are actually relevant for your product, and you're kind of preventing Amazon from establishing a relevancy between your product and that keyword, then that's not a good thing at the end of the day, right? So you do want all the related searches to be associated with your product. That's the reason why we're doing advertising, in a sense, to train the algorithm so that organically we are able to see, we are able to show up for those keywords whenever we get an opportunity.
Let's say that you've revised your listing and maybe it's targeting more of that negative keyword. If you bring that negative keyword back to life, because it was negative, is it going to take a lot longer for it to come back, or is it just start from scratch?
Everything on Amazon is based on historical data. So whether you can prove to Amazon that that keyword is really relevant or not is what's going to determine whether that keyword will be sticky or not. So let's say you bring back a keyword that was previously negated, which I do quite a bit actually. I bring back keywords, I'm experimenting with them. If after the new flow of searches that matches with that keyword come in, and there is some evidence that there's clicks and therefore also sales, then you will get back to where you were before you negated, because it's all about proving to the algorithm that this keyword is relevant.
Okay. Next, you said that there was two main reports. What's the second one?
Well, there's a bunch of reports that I would like to share,
Sure.
but I think my favorite one, of course, after search term is actually a new report that Amazon has just rolled out. It's called the search term impression share. And I'm not sure if the audience is familiar with it, but the impression share report gives you where you stand, or where all these different search terms stand with respect to the entire kind of ecosystem of impressions that is out there. So for example, there is a keyword like dog grooming tools or something like that, dog grooming kit. Now there might be a lot of products that are selling that product. There might be a lot of competitors selling that product. Now you might have a certain share of the impressions that are available for that keyword, right, in a day, in a month, in a year. Now Amazon gives you that percentage. What percentage of all the impressions you are winning, and what is the rank of that share? So for example, if there's three top bidders that have each something like 30% of all the impression share, 20% and 10%, and then let's say you have something like 5% of the total share of impressions, then you will be ranked number 4 in terms of how much of the impressions is actually going to you for that keyword. So actually, I might want to show this. So maybe this is a good time for Kelsey to help me with screen share. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So so this is what I wanted to do with the search term impression share report, is basically to discover low-hanging fruit. And I'm going to show you where to find it. First of all, you can find this report within the report section. You want to go to the report type Either you could go to sponsored products or sponsored brands. And then here you will look for search term impression share, which is the report we're talking about. And this is what it looks like. All right. So I have just
So
taken four.
Ritu,
Yeah.
just jump in for a sec.
Yeah.
Just if you could remember that we've got a lot of people that are going to be watching this on video, but if you could describe the
Okay.
columns or whatever, just
Sure.
for those on the podcast.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So the columns that I'm going to share here on the search term impression share report. There's four columns that I've isolated. This is a pretty big report, but I've just isolated four columns.
Mm-hmm.
So the first column I have here is called customer search term. So this is exactly the terms that people type into the search bar. Super valuable information, right? This is what they type in. Then we have the search term impression rank, which means where do you stand with respect to others in the space? Are you at position 1 in terms of the impression share? Are you at position 2, 3, 4, and so on? So that's basically telling you, if you have a search term impression share rank of 1, then it means that you have the lion's share of all the impressions for that keyword or for that search term. The next column I have here is the search term impression share itself. So it'll give you the exact percentage that you are winning in terms of impressions, which is great. So on the screen here, the first keyword that's showing up is dog chew toys for big dogs, and this has a 30% search term impression share, which is pretty good, right? It is. It means that a third of all impressions are going to your ads. And then I have the last column, which is 7-day total orders. This is just telling me how many orders did I actually win from these search terms. Now, the interesting thing about the search term impression share rank and how it's different from the regular search term is that this will tell you information about searches that may not even have gotten a single click. These are the things that Amazon thinks that you are relevant for already. So here we are literally honing in on what the algorithm is granting us in terms of relevancy. So this is something that you won't get anywhere else. When you access the search term report, it is already a step further along. It is the step when people have already clicked onto your ad, and then Amazon tells you, hey, when someone typed this search term, they clicked on your ad, and this is what the performance was. Whereas this report is going to tell you something that even the search term doesn't tell you, which is what were all the impressions you showed up for? What were all the search terms that you were basically granted impressions for, even if you don't have a single click on them, right? Isn't that cool? So
It
that's
is really
telling you,
cool.
yeah, it is so valuable because if you can extract all those searches that Amazon is giving you relevancy for, because it's telling you that you're showing up for these keywords, then you can find your opportunity. So I might be using the terms keyword and search term somewhat interchangeably, but I guess most people here understand what I'm saying. Search term is what people type into the search bar. Keywords are what we either extract from that or we bid on, right? So that's the kind of difference, often confusing when you're in conversations. So what we would like to do with this report is, first of all, you want to filter on search impression share greater than 30%. Why? Because anything lower than that, it might be, not as relevant. You definitely want to make sure that you have data sufficiency, because otherwise you'll be chasing a lot of long tail keywords that may or may not, be valuable for you. So, look for anything that has more than 30% search term impression share. Then you want to extract these columns: the customer search term, the search term impression share rank, and the search term impression rank, and remove all the duplicate rows, because these searches will be shared amongst all your different campaigns. So you don't want to have clutter. Just get rid of the campaigns column. Just extract just the search terms. That's all you need, right? Once you've got that, you need to then check if you have any gaps in your bidding, if you have not been bidding on these keywords proactively in any manual campaign. So this is a great way to discover new keywords. Now I know a lot of people do keyword research using tools like Jungle Scout, Helium 10, and so on, right? So that's looking for opportunities in that space, in that category, for things that have good search volume. Whereas what this report is telling you is where Amazon thinks you're relevant. So this is really super valuable data coming from the way your ads have been set up. And so this can be an ongoing exercise that I would encourage people to do maybe once a month, to look for new opportunities, low-hanging fruit that you already have enough relevancy for.
Okay, very good. So before we get to the next report, just wanted to remind people that we do have a giveaway today. We've got a PPC audit that Ritu is going to be doing. It's worth about $250. Anybody that's listening should take advantage of that. If you want to, hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, and you'll get a second entry. Okay, so next report, or do you have another screen you want to share?
Yes. So I do want to share another report. So
Sure.
We've talked about the impression share. Now let's talk about the category benchmark report. So now, what is this? First of all, this is a report that tells you how you or your ads stack up against competitors. So, for example, you're bidding on some categories. For example, you have category targeting ads that you're running, or there is categories or subcategories that Amazon thinks that you're relevant for, and you're just looking at this report to kind of find out how are you performing against your competitors on a few different parameters. One is the impressions count. Second is the click-through rate, and the third is your ACoS. How are you comparing against? So this report can also be found within the report section for sponsored brands, and then you go down this drop down and pick up category benchmark, and then this is what the report actually looks like. So I've just pulled out one section, and I'm gonna just read out the column names for our listeners who are unable to see the screen here. So the first column I have is category. I've masked the category name, but I'm showing category 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are different categories in which your ads are showing up. So the category could be, let's say, dog chew toys, pets, cat toys, or things like that that are related to that category of pets. Now, the next column I have is advertising cost of sale, or ACoS, right, for your ads in that category. The next 3 columns are basically statistical data on the top 25 or the upper quartile, then the middle quartile, which is like the median, which is like 2 quartiles worth, and then the bottom quartile, which is the lowest quartile. If you imagine a bell curve, that's the distribution of data. So where do you fall with respect to where your peers are at? I can compare and see that in category 2 on my screen, I have a average ACoS of 12.79%, right? My peers have in the upper bracket, which means the best performers are getting an average of 18.97% ACoS. The worst performers are getting an ACoS of 28%. And the ones in the middle are getting an average of 20% ACoS, right? 20%-ish ACoS. So this basically tells me that I'm already better than the topmost tier or the topmost group of competitors. So what does this tell me? This basically tells me that I have a huge opportunity. I can actually run more ads to this category and get better results in terms of ACoS, because somehow my ads are converting much, much better than my peers. So just knowing this information alone can kind of help you prioritize, the category targeting aspect for your sponsored brand ads. This report is available for sponsored brands, so this is great for people who are brand registered and who are running sponsored brand ads. This is amazing to find out how you compare.
It's a great report.
Yes,
Can,
yes.
can you you could just imagine at a glance, top, middle, high, where
Yeah.
you have to be, or if you're beating the trend, spend a bit more money and take more market share. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yes, it is gold. If you know where to find it and how to, how to find it and how to extract this data, yes, this is gold. Yeah.
Okay, now on that note, if any of the listeners are either have a favorite report or they're having a problem with a report or don't understand how to read it, let us know, ask a question. And also, if you do have a PPC question, just throw it in there and we will try to get to it by the end of the podcast.
Yes. Cool.
Okay. Now, again, going back to these 24 other reports, I think you
Yes.
mentioned something about placement reports as well, correct?
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yes, so I want to talk about placements. So, all of our ads show up in different placements on Amazon, right? So, for example, with sponsored products, you can show up on top of search, you can show up in the rest of search category, or you can show up on product detail pages, right? So there's three different kind of groupings of placements.
Mm-hmm.
So the top of search is the spot above the fold. As look at your screen and what you see above the fold with the search results, that is called top of search, right? It's typically the first row with 4 ads showing up. That's top of search. Then anything below the fold is called rest of search. So it could be the same page 1 but below the fold, and then all of page 2, all of page 3, all of page 4, all the ads showing up on those pages. That's called rest of search. And then the third placement is product pages. So you can show up in carousels in the middle of the product detail page. There's a bunch of them now. There's I've seen 2 or 3 carousels that are horizontal scroll sections with hundreds of pages going right. So you can literally place so many ads there. So now, are all those placements equal? No, they're different, right? Because top of search has the most eyeballs. It is also the place where you get the highest cost per click, right? It's the most expensive. Everybody's competing for that spot. And it is also probably the most converting as well, because you get people to see your ad. There's a high likelihood of them clicking on the first 1 or 2 ads, because people are lazy, shoppers are lazy, they probably don't want to go down. They will just click on that, and Amazon just makes it so hard to distinguish between a regular listing and a sponsored listing. I mean, they have a little sponsored text in light gray at the bottom right corner of every ad, but most people are likely to skip that and they'll just click on whatever is shown up as a recommendation, right? So top of search has all these pros and cons. It's high converting. It is also the most expensive, but sometimes having the most expensive click doesn't necessarily mean that you're unprofitable. It could be that you need just a few clicks to make a sale, and then that's fine. That kind of makes up for the loss or the expense of each click. So you need to know where your ad is performing best. And it's hard for anybody to say that you should always use top of search or you should always prioritize product pages. You have to check that for every single ad, because that information is not something you can generalize. Well, you can look at some aggregate data, but at the end of the day, you need to look at each campaign and see which placement is performing the best, and then promote that placement. So there's a few different ways you can do that. You could either use software. So for example, PPC Ninja has a placements view that gives you all of the placements in a single view. So you can literally in a few seconds optimize all of the placements across all of the ads without really having to download anything. It's a pretty quick bulk operation. But if you don't have access to software like that, you need to download the placement report and see how are your ads performing on top of search, and how are they performing on other placements? So two separate reports, one for sponsored products, one for sponsored brands. You'll need to separately download them and figure out where you want to, spend your money. Right now, it's not always easy to kind of say, hey, Amazon, for this campaign, always show my ads on top of search or always show on product pages. You can't do that. What you can do though is you can put modifiers. You can put bid multipliers or modifiers so that one of those placements gets a little bit more of a boost. And so the hope is that because of the way you place a modifier on those bids on a particular placement, that Amazon will start favoring that placement over the other. You can't just block off the other placement, but you can favor or encourage Amazon to favor one of the placements.
All right.
So yeah, so that's how you would go about the modification based on performance data.
Now, Kelsey, Simon had a question about the category, the benchmark report. Can you bring that up?
Oh, yes. So Simon's asking, in the category benchmark report, what if you are very much in the bottom 25%?
Yeah, I mean, that's quite possible. And most of the times, we do notice that, we're not doing as great because a lot of our, mainland China brands are doing way better than us. And it happens, I've seen it. They're so good at advertising. They're so good at getting, um, the most impressions and so on. So if you are in that state where you're in the lowest peer group, you just have to figure out how profitable you can be with those ads. If there's no point just pushing it when there's not a good opportunity. There's so many different ad types that you have access to. You probably are better off finding the right ad and the right type of targeting that actually works instead of trying to just push it with something that is not going to be profitable. So if you know you're at the very bottom, then you know that it's going to be hard. It's not easy to kind of get to the top. Whereas if you are in the top or you're in the middle, you know that if you push it a little bit, you might be able to get some results from there. So just look at each ad and look at your advertising in the context of how is this performing vis-a-vis all the other ad types that you have performing. I want to just share one more thing here,
Sure.
which is that a lot of people that I've come across, they will focus on keywords only. They will focus on keyword-based ads under sponsored products only. They are not looking at other low-hanging fruit with other ad types. Recently, we launched a product, and as always, we set up 30 to 40 campaigns of every type. So we have sponsored products, sponsored brands, sponsored video, sponsored display, all the different ad types. And one of the reasons why we do that is to see which ones are going to perform, because that's our best way of doubling down, right? We know that this is working. So believe it or not, the best ad type that worked for this new launch was sponsored display. I did not anticipate that because I thought, okay, we did a great job at keyword research. So our keyword-based ads were all set, but the cost per clicks are the highest for keyword-based ads. The other ad types where there's not much competition, people are not focusing on them, there's probably still room for you guys to get profitable conversions, right? So just take that example as, okay, sponsored display is working here, so double down on that. So we immediately upped our budgets for sponsored display. So that's kind of the way you would navigate the complexity of looking at data and then reacting to it.
I was just going to mention that, and I've seen this. Let's take Ballistics, for example. So you might have I call it a silo, and you're targeting natural Ballistics. And it just seems that that's the most popular target keyword, that whole silo, like all the long tails and the natural Ballistics are being targeted. Well, if you take a look and you do some keyword research, if you're targeting keywords, you might go after a different silo, which is pizzle, which means bully stick. And that might be a lower hanging fruit. So you might want to just not put so much time and effort into the one that everybody else is going for and go over to that other silo and start focusing more on that.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, that's exactly what we want to do with our advertising. Because it is so competitive, because it's so hard, you actually want to actively look for low-hanging fruit at all times. Always be looking for low-hanging fruit.
Right. Okay. So we are getting up there. We've already been talking 45 minutes. Now, are there any other reports that you want to focus on before I've got a question about Black Friday.
Yeah, no, I think I'll let you go ahead because this is kind of a heavy topic, so I don't want to bore the audience. So I'm happy to, discuss about Black Friday as well.
Okay. Well, I got to tell you, I didn't
Yeah,
know what to expect talking about PPC reports. I thought it'd be interesting,
yeah.
but boring, not. This is incredible. Like the information just out of
Yeah.
those three reports that you can get. I think
Mhm.
anybody who's listening should be taking notes on this one because it's great. I mean, it could just give you at a glance exactly what you need to perform. And Kelsey, what do you want?
And
What do you want,
I
Cos?
just want to remind everyone that if you are looking, if maybe we've gone past something and you want to rewatch the podcast again, that is totally available. Either on Facebook, once this podcast is aired, you can go back and rewatch it, and also on our YouTube channel, Norman Farrar. You can find all the episodes where you can go back and rewatch any of the episodes, and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the good stuff.
Thanks for that shameless plug. Okay, so and he doesn't get paid to do that either. Okay, so let's talk Black Friday. You got any strategies that you're using for Black Friday that we can take a look at? Might be different from last year.
Right. Yeah. So I think one of the things that I want to mention is that, while Amazon is going to push us for, increasing our bids and budgets and taking advantage of the extra traffic that's coming our way, I just want to say that based on our experience, Black Friday is not for everybody. And the reason why I'm saying that is because not every type of product does well on Black Friday or even the holidays after that. If you are a giftable, if your products are giftables or highly desirable, that people have to kind of wait, queue up their wish list and so on till that date, then yes, then definitely makes sense to go all in and kind of set up your campaigns in a way that you will get maximum exposure and so on. But if you aren't, let's say you are not a giftable, then it's probably better to do the opposite, which means to protect yourself because CPCs will be the highest this time of year for your type of product. So just kind of evaluate your choices based on historical data, or just see if you actually ever get sales on Black Friday that are worth the extra expense of expensive ads and so on during that time. So I guess that would be my short summary of what to do during Black Friday. Um, yeah, and also, just to keep in mind, when there is this, high volume of people interested in products, there will be a dip in conversions and leading up to the date, right? So there will be a dip leading up to the date. So you probably want to see we probably want to evaluate your data in totality. Like there was a dip before the event. Okay, there was a spike during the event, but then in totality, did it result in something that is sustainable for you? Big brands, of course, this is their time. This is the time for really big brands to make sure that they have, uh, their kind of this is their time to kind of build on audiences that they can have for a long time. The customer lifetime value is probably greater for them, so they might want to invest in this time and make sure that they're everywhere, like they have all of their ads ready to go and they're increasing their budgets and so on. But for a lot of other sellers that do not fall in that category, I would say protect yourself. That would be my advice.
Very good. So, and the other couple of things, but not PPC related, but some of the things that you could do, and you started to see it already with some brands, but a pre Black Friday sale. And if you have a mailing list, if you've been able to drive traffic maybe from inserts or get them over to your Shopify store or whatever, you can take that list, create a simple email campaign, target them, and give them 10% or 15% off, something along those lines. They're already buying from you. They already like you. You don't have to give away 50%. And that's something I think we've got to take a look at. Like you were saying, you can have tons of sales. I knew a company going back about 2 or 3 years ago, not going to mention the name. They did 750,000 on Black Friday, but they made no money. Zero, absolutely
Right.
nothing. And it made no sense. Tons of PPC, but it was just a wash. The other thing that you might want to be looking at is announcing this. So if you're going live and you have a follower, like a following, go live. People get those notifications. Use the customer experience app that's in your Seller Central
Yes.
now, and you can email people and let them know that you're having a pre-Black Friday sale, not against Amazon's TOS, and you're saving money. So I'd rather spend, instead of spending 30 or 40% ACOS because your bids are going to be so high, I'd rather focus it, give less, or take your listing when you do have that PPC or you do drive people over from Facebook or wherever, have a nice digital coupon there that separates you. So it doesn't have to be huge, but just show that you're providing some sort of savings. Like Tim, so Tim Jordan, my partner at Private Label Legion, he doesn't move his budget. He does not do any PPC, and he keeps his listings at exactly the same cost. If people want his product, they buy the product, and he gets lots of sales on Black Friday.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's so many other ways to kind of drive traffic to your page. Like you said, there's email, which is practically free. Then you can also take advantage of posts, right? Posts are really popular these days because with posts, you're able to show up on product detail pages now. In addition to it was always there. You were able to show up on mobile, but now Amazon is showing posts on product detail pages, and it just is amazing because you can increase your followers and have them know every time you have a new product launch or there's something that you want to announce. That kind of gets it's easier for you to reach that audience. So it's probably better if you can start building your follower base. One of the tips I want to share with you guys is on your storefront, wherever you have the button, the follow button, which is right now on the left side, right? Try to make the banner have some sort of follow arrow pointing to the button. And we've seen that just by doing that, people, are encouraged. It's almost like a CTA to kind of actually go and click on the follow button. So you can do things like that to encourage, more followers and stuff like that. So yeah, highly recommend using posts at this time.
Okay. Kels, I think it's time for questions.
Yes, we have some questions coming in. And just before we get started, I just want to let everyone know if you are interested in getting or tuning into Lunch with Norm right when we when we start streaming, click the 3 dots on your Facebook profile or on the video and just press the push notifications or enable notifications, and that will let you get a notification as soon as we go live so you don't miss any episodes in the future. But our first question is from Yajin. For sellers who have large quantities of SKUs, do you suggest to run campaigns for each SKU daily, or is it best to run campaigns for a few SKUs and rotate each week or month, assuming all of these SKUs are similar products but with different styles?
Got it. Yeah. This is a great question, and it is almost like an overhead to have too many campaigns running for each of your variations, right? You're probably talking about variations, and the question is about how do you structure your campaigns so that you get the best results, right? So typically what we've seen is that there's always going to be one or two main drivers of sales for an ASIN, for a parent ASIN, for example. And the others are going to be discovered once someone clicks into a page that has multiple variations. So it's quite okay to have a limited set of SKUs that you are advertising on, and let the the discovery of the other ASINs happen through the page itself, right? So that's probably the easiest, cleanest way of running ads, where you have limited SKUs. And I generally combine the SKUs within the same ad group. I don't complicate it by creating hundreds of ad groups, hundreds of because the ad groups will have their own keywords, right? So you'll have to replicate those keywords across every single ad group, and that's going to be a management overhead for you. So it's probably better to keep a structure that is simple with campaign, followed by one ad group, followed by a couple of SKUs that are your strongest or your best sellers, right? And then let those drive sales to the others if it's easy for them to discover those other products on your page. Because if you have to if you include all of your SKUs within an ad group, chances are that only a few of them will get any impressions anyway. So the rest of them will be deprioritized by Amazon, and only the ones that do, prove themselves out would be getting the lion's share of impressions. Now there is a caveat to this. Like if, let's say, you have some SKUs that are not moving inventory and you want to push them specifically, then it might be a good idea to set up a separate ad just for them. So that way they will get their own space on the search results page, an ad for themselves, and then you can drive traffic directly to that page. Right. So those are some of the ways in which we kind of deal with this situation. I know I empathize with you because it is kind of quite messy if you have to deal with hundreds and hundreds of SKUs, and how do you structure campaigns? Keep it simple, and see wherever you need to kind of focus specifically on certain SKUs, just set up new campaigns for those.
Perfect. Next question.
Okay. The next question is from Tony. What is the best tip to compete against competitors who have a much bigger ad budget than me?
Yeah, I would say look for the ad type that works best for you. Earlier on, I gave this example of a new launch that we just did with every single ad type. We set up 30 to 40 campaigns for that product, and we discovered that sponsored display was doing the best. And so if you want to compete, you don't want to compete where they're already strong, right? If they are strong with keywords, they've already got a history of being in the top 3 in brand analytics report, or let's say if they've got hundreds and hundreds of reviews and you don't, then chances are that your conversion rate will be lower. And so if you want to protect yourself, go after cheaper ad types. What is cheaper ad types? Let me just explain how I would go about bidding across the spectrum of different ad types. So the most expensive ad types would be keyword based under sponsored products, right? So that I would say is the most expensive, followed by sponsored brand ads. Those would be the next most expensive. Now your product targeting ads and the category targeting ads would be cheaper. So you want to make sure that you bid lower on those, because those are they show up on product detail pages for the most part, and that's when you can win bottom of funnel conversions easier. So you probably want to bid lower on product targeting and category targeting. And then the sponsored display ads, you want to bid the lowest, because those ads can actually run with your budget. So you want to make sure that if I were to just use an example of just a random product, let's say I would put a $1 bid for keyword-based sponsored products. I would put a 50-cent bid maybe for product targeting under sponsored products. I would again put like a 50 to 60 bid for sponsored brands, and I would put a 20-cent bid for sponsored display, just to give you an idea of scale. It doesn't mean that that's the numbers I'll use. I'll probably do secondary research to see which keywords to bid slightly differently and so on. But just to give you an idea, a lot of people make the mistake of bidding extremely high on sponsored display, and that's not a good idea, because sponsored display can be quite upper funnel, especially the audience type. The audience targeting can be so upper funnel that it's not given that someone who looks at your ad off Amazon that they're going to actually click on it and buy. So you don't want to waste your money on something that is too broad, or is not exactly targeted. But at the same time, you want to also make sure that you're not always going after keywords alone. You should go after keywords, but that's the most expensive. So keep in mind, look for your low hanging fruit for opportunities where others aren't focusing. One more ad type that I would highly recommend is video ads, because the click-through rate on video ads is 6 times higher than sponsored product ads. And that can give you 4x the space on the search results page. There's 4 ads worth of space that you can get with a single video ad. So try that and see if that works for you.
All right.
All right, great. Next question is from Marcia. Once we determine the best keywords, do you think the same keywords work for Amazon and for Walmart?
That's a great question. We actually were experimenting with trying to use the same keywords with Google also. And yes, for Walmart as well. But at the end of the day, it will be the data that guides you, right? You want to set up all these ads, but then you want to make sure that once data starts to roll in, what are you doing after that? Like, how do you respond to that? If the bids are high and the ACoS is extremely high, you want to lower your bid. If your ACoS is low, then you want to increase your bid. So I think setting up keywords exactly the same way for Walmart and Amazon is fine, except that you want to make sure that you're watching the bids and optimizing on an ongoing basis.
Right. And I can tell you that if you take a look at the keywords, that if you want to just take a look at the difference in keywords, they are very different. So you can have a top performing keyword on Amazon, and you could just crush it on Walmart with just by using that keyword. And I'll give you another example. So if you use dog chew on Amazon, well, you don't get the same ranking as you would with pet chew for some reason. So yeah, you got to be careful. Like you said, it's the same system, but you got to make sure if you're looking at the keywords that you're looking at both. So you can check out the Helium 10 tools and they will compare.
Right, yeah. One more thing to add about Walmart advertising is that it's not the second price auction, it's first price auction, right? Whatever you bid is whatever you'll pay.
That's scary.
Whereas with it's scary, right? I've had the privilege of the worst, I've experienced the worst possible failure on Walmart, where I set up an ad and I let it run for one day. I had 700 clicks and 0 sales. I blew through like $700 overnight. So made the mistake because I had put my bid as a $1 and I hadn't put any caps there. So whereas in Amazon, you have the second price auction system where you only get charged a 1 penny above the next bidder, right? So that's another thing to keep in mind. So you've got to be careful with how you bid on Walmart.
Yeah, I can imagine going in and saying, like, you hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, overbid," and they go in and they put in a $4 click or a $5 click, and then they wake up and it's even more than $700.
Right. Exactly.
All right, we have one more question.
Okay.
This is from Simon, and then we'll jump into the Wheel of Kelsey. So if you haven't yet, please comment #Wheel of Kelsey for a free PPC audit from PPC Ninja, valued at $240. So this is from Simon. Black Friday, Cyber Monday is traditionally discount time. However, a lot of sellers have stocked out. So having stock is win time. Could we push prices up for the next 10 days and then offer a discount?
Yeah, so I think prices, if you want to push prices up and then use that extra margin to run ads so that you're more visible, I think that's a fine strategy. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't know, Norm, do you have any suggestions?
It's expected right now. So,
Yeah,
I mean, that's a really great point. People are running
yeah,
out of inventory. And if you
correct.
can take advantage of that, great.
It
Especially
is great.
Simon, you're in the kids category. So, that would be probably perfect for you.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for questions. And I guess we can jump over to the Wheel of Kelsey.
And Ritu, you've seen Wheel of Kelsey before.
I have. It's
All
fun.
right. Okay.
All right. So here we go.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right. So
Okay.
if you are today's winner, please email me k@lunchwithnorm.com. And thank you for everyone who entered. We do this every podcast, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. This is for the free PPC audit. So the winner is Tony.
All right, Tony. Is that Tony Cigar?
That is
Very good.
Cool.
awesome.
Tony, you
Another
gotta
fellow
pay
Canadian.
Kelsey or something. You always get the great prizes.
That is so cool.
All right, Tony. So you already know how to do this. Send over your information, or Kelsey's already got your information. You've won so many times. Anyway, congrats, Tone. I think Simon came in with something else. I can't read it.
Yeah, so Simon's saying if I am spending 10,000 on PPC and running it inefficiently, say 20% tacos, I would rather pay an agency to spend $10,000 and reduce tacos.
Yep. I mean, tacos is the important number. People do focus on ACOS more than tacos, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's you want to measure your tacos and make sure that that's in order, no matter what your ACOS is. Yeah, I totally agree.
I was just talking about this just before we got on the phone.
Mhm.
Really, I was. But
Yeah.
but really, who cares about ACOS if your tacos is going down?
Right. Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
yeah.
Who
And for
cares
those of
about it?
us, I
Yeah.
mean, that's your total sales compared to your advertising cost of sales.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it. Ritu, you escaped.
Yeah.
That's it. It wasn't that hard.
So Norm, I have a gift for you actually, because you invited me to lunch with Norm. This is the second time, so I wanna I wanna be goofy and show you something on my screen if
Uh-oh.
Kelsey wouldn't mind.
Uh-oh.
I know it's gonna be funny, but since you do this all the time, right?
Oh, okay. Oh.
So since you're so goofy with your images with Tim, I just thought I'll be goofy as well.
Oh, that's great.
Anyway,
Oh.
Very nice, Ritu. Very nice.
Yeah. Oh, man.
yeah.
You're going to be as bad as Kelsey with those
Oh my
images
goodness.
every Friday.
Well, we love those, so keep them coming. Just love
Okay,
those
definitely will.
so much. Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh, I'm turning red.
Thanks
All
so much.
right. Well, thank you so much for being on. Can't wait till you're on
Yeah.
a third time.
Thank you so much.
Oh, and how do people
Yeah.
get a hold of you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you can basically catch me on LinkedIn. Here's my I can share my screen again.
Yep.
So you can catch me on LinkedIn. I'm Ritu Java, or you could just email me, Ritu@PPC Ninja, and our website is ppcninja.com. So
Very good.
look forward to connecting with you guys.
And we will have all that information in the show notes as well. So thank you. That was really great. You made reports
Thank you so
very
much.
interesting.
I love data, so that's the place I
You can
live
never
in.
tell.
Reports. I love reports.
All right, Ritu, we will see you
All
at
right.
some event somewhere in the world.
Yes, we will. Take care. Norm.
Okay, see you later.
Thank you, Kelsey. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. I hope you liked that one. It's you know what? When somebody loves what they're doing, you can tell it just oozes out, right? And who can make reports interesting? I did learn a lot. There are, especially the one report, the new report, the second one. I've got to get our team to take a look at. We've never seen that report before. At least I haven't. Okay, so I just wanted to give a big thank you to our sponsor for the episode, Global Wired Advisors, a leading digital investment bank focused on optimizing the business sales process. For more information, please contact Chris and his team over at globalwiredadvisors.com. All right, Kels, where are you?
Yes, hello. That was a great episode.
Yeah.
Ritu is awesome. Love having her on the show, and we got to get her back. I also wanted to ask the audience, what do you think of these kind of in-depth episodes where we dive into something very, very specific? Is this something that you really enjoy and want to learn more, or would you rather topics, or do you prefer topics that are more broad and conversational, opinion type questions? Like, just let us know, just so we can see what you guys are interested in, and because we want to make this
And ask that
enjoyable
in
for
the
you.
group as well, Kels.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And also, if there's anything that you currently need help with or want to know for the Q4 and going into 2022, let us know in the comment section. Maybe we can do a topic in the near future about something like this. We're always looking for what you guys are interested in. So yeah, just let us know in the comment section. Of course, smash those like buttons if you haven't already. Share this episode out, and we definitely appreciate you guys. Marina is saying yes, more of those episodes. Perfect. I know we've had ones with Paul Barron where we deep dive into the Instagram direct messaging. So yeah, awesome. Simon, I learned that PPC still sucks.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right, so that's it.
Tune in every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for being part of our community. Go and, if you're not part of the Facebook group, go and check out the Lunch with Norm Facebook group. It's great. There's tons of engagement, and we couldn't do this without you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Lunch with Norm.